Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about healthcare workers from New York City who love their dogs and their parents' marriages.
That's right. It's cast bios time, baby. We are so back. Grant season is almost upon us, so it's time to get to know the only 25 bachelorettes who will be vying for this man's heart.
Yeah, this is a tight season. It's concise, it's succinct, like they're not going on and on. They're like 25 women should do it. Before we get into the bios, a little housekeeping. We are covering The Traitors Season 3 and Season 2 of the Netflix show Exo Kitty over on Rich Text. You can find those episodes at claireandemma.substack.com.
Okay, let's get into the bios, Claire. First, some big picture notes on this cast. As we said, this is like a pretty small group. I feel like the casts had started ballooning out to like 35 women.
Yeah, every now and then they throw in a 25-person season just to give us a break.
Like, thank you. I can maybe learn all of their names, or at least most of them.
They're like, no one wants your 3-hour cast bios episode. We'll cut you guys some slack. So sometimes they do bring in surprise bachelorettes. So there's no guarantee that these are the only 25 women, but these are the 25 women in the initial cast. There's some overall trends in what we see from the bios and the photos. I would say over half appear to be women of color, about 60%. Of course, the Bachelor this season, Grant Ellis, is our second Black Bachelor. So we are glad to see that it's not a mostly white cast. I mean, the bar is so low, but there's that. Body diversity appears to be approximately nil.
That sounds like par for the course, unfortunately. It looks like one of the women, Chloe, may be a like quote unquote curve model. It's not 100% clear, but she does not seem to be a straight size model, and she's definitely a professional model. And honestly, this would track with the show's very clear history of throwing one curve or plus size model into the mix like once every 3 years.
Yeah, here's some body diversity. It's a very slightly larger than usual body.
Who's a literal model.
And she's a model. Yeah, I think that's happened a couple of times in the past. This is the oldest Bachelor cast in the show's history.
Yes.
That is... Wow. We've come a long way, baby.
To be clear, there's very, very little... there's very, very little change generally when it comes to the ages of the cast, but the average age of this cast is slightly higher than we have seen. Which just means that we're more weighted towards the late 20s and earliest 30s.
Yeah, I would say it looks to me like the oldest woman is 32.
Yes. It definitely does not have the oldest individual bachelorette, but we are weighted towards that end of the age range that is usually on the show versus being weighted towards like 24, 25.
Right. There are 4 31-year-olds. So, they're really,
they're like,
wow, really aged up.
These women, what do you know? When you pass 30, you're allowed to still find love, at least for like 1 to 2 years after you hit 30. It's allowed. I'm so happy.
Oh my God. I'm unwell that this is the oldest Bachelor cast in history. That's not even that heavily weighted towards the 30s, and we've had bachelors who are like 39.
I know, but the ages have not changed.
I know. Sometimes it almost feels like they're younger.
Around 27 or something.
Oh God, I'm depressed. Well, good for them. That's progress. I was looking at the ages, not so statistically, when I was putting the doc together. I was just like, oh, I'm seeing a few 31-year-olds. Why do I have this sinking feeling that they won't end up with Grant? A 31-year-old is a perfectly valid person for another 31-year-old to date. Why do I feel like that person never wins? And I looked it up.
You're
And
like, they
how many
don't.
times do you think a woman over the age of 29 has won The Bachelor?
Well, I can't guess because you did already tell me the answer.
Once. And it was a very long time ago. It was Byron Velvik's season. He was 40. He picked a 36-year-old.
And for that,
Never
we should
again.
all give him a gold star.
Thank you, Byron. That was like 20 years ago. Since then, we have had bachelors who are 37, 39. They have all ended up with women at or around the age of 25. And I would say the oldest that we saw was 29, aside from our one 36-year-old winner. We had a couple 29-year-old winners.
Cool.
Yeah, and then a
Well,
lot
that's
of
the age where you
25
age
and
out.
24.
That's the age where you age out of desirability, of being worthy of love. As I think we all know.
Yeah.
It's, there's just a cliff, and women have to jump off of it after they hit 29.
The last fuckable day. It's younger than you think. It's when you're 29 and 364 days.
I know. Like, we've been sitting at these podcasting desks and we didn't even realize. Like, we probably had our last fuckable day during COVID, and it was just like,
hey, some of us have never had a fuckable day, and we exist. Representation. I mean, to me, this really also puts in a new light. I didn't realize how right Medina was about her role as a 31-year-old on the show, on Joey's season, and how hopeless that kind of felt. And I was like, but it is harder for older women. It shouldn't be, but it is. Literally, they have only been represented in the winner's circle one time. And this is the 29th season of the show.
How many runner-ups do you think we have?
Not many, if any. I think we have some in the final four.
Sure. Wow.
I'm thinking of Ashley Fraser,
and Claire.
Probably. Oh yeah, Claire's a runner-up. Yeah.
Runner-up.
Yeah.
So I think we all know we have to pat Juan Pablo on the back now.
Oh Jesus.
It's so dark. So dark.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, part of the problem there is that they just don't really cast a lot of women in their 30s, but also there is clearly a cultural feeling that younger is more desirable. Doesn't matter what age the man is. So
I don't know. This is the oldest Bachelor cast in history, and they look pretty desirable to me.
I know. So. You know what? I have faith in Grant. I don't think he's going to pick a 25-year-old.
Totally think
that's my prediction.
I think he's going to pick a 25-year-old, but I hope that you're right and I'm wrong.
I think he'll pick a 28-year-old.
Definitely possible. I could see that for him. Some other trends. We actually have 2 women with the last name Gupta. I was having fun going through the Instagram bios, and I was like, I've seen this last name before. We have 3 women with totally superfluous vowels in their names that make them very Googleable. Thank you
Chloe,
so much.
Who has just an I in there for some reason.
Well, you don't know how to say the E at the end of her name unless there is another vowel. We have 4 women who aspire to have long-lasting marriages like their parents who have been married for 30 plus years.
Frankly, that seems sort of low for The Bachelor.
I mean, we probably have more than that. Those were just the ones that explicitly mention it in their bios. We have 2 attorneys, 5 healthcare workers, 3 who work in the pediatric sort of sector of healthcare in different capacities. Very nurturing, wifey material. We have 2 interior designers. We have 2 models. We have 6 dog moms, but seemingly no human moms. So, in short...
When is the last time we had a single mom? Was it Christina Mandrell?
Maybe. I don't remember a single parent really being...
I don't think there was
in a couple seasons.
No, on Joey's season, I don't think we had any.
Yeah. And on Jen's season, I don't think anyone having kids ever became
I don't think
a factor. That used to be such a reliable type that
trope
they
every
would
single season. Yeah,
that they really
that's
seem to have moved away from for some reason.
interesting. Something they
Yeah.
have moved towards, though, is our fair city,
They
New
love New
York.
York.
There's so many New Yorkers this season. I'm shocked.
I think The Bachelor is looking around and they're like, now that Eric Adams is in charge, we feel like it's time for New York to have its comeback moment. We heart New York.
They're like, as long as they do have parents who live in the suburbs, so we can not go to an apartment during a hometown date, you're allowed.
They will never go to an apartment during a hometown date.
No,
I do sort
once
of
was
wish
enough.
I wish that Kit had gotten a hometown date
Ugh,
back in the day so that we could see like Cynthia Rowley's New
apartment.
York
Oh my
apartment.
God, I bet it's incredible.
Yeah, missed opportunity. Um, Also, as I was going through the bios, I was kind of struck by the aesthetic of the headshots, which not all of them are amazing, but I feel like the aesthetic was almost sort of painterly. Like something about the way they edited them makes them look so sort of like those hyper realistic illustrations that you see on a
Yes.
book cover.
I wonder if it's like the color scheme. There, makes the faces sort of feel flat with the background. This like deep burgundy brown background.
Yeah, I suspect that it's also some smoothing that they're doing that ends up making them look like they have brushstrokes instead of pores. But I kind of was into it. I was like, it looks like the cover of like a Sweet Valley High, like
And I'm
updated
not mad about
edition or
that
something.
because who doesn't love Sweet Valley High? Also, I just feel that we've come so far from the days where it looked like the worst corporate headshot you've ever
I
seen in your
know.
life every single time. Like somehow they would make the most gorgeous people look barely human and
Yeah.
not in like a and much less attractive.
Right. We came up with the whole recurring segment for our Cast Bios episode that we still do that is purely just based on the fact that these headshots used to be so egregiously terrible and now they're better, but we still check and see if they're more beautiful than their headshots. And
I feel
usually
like-
the answer is not really because it's a pretty good headshot now.
I still find it useful though because I like to compare the vibes. Sometimes
true.
someone might look really gorgeous in their headshot, but you're missing like the edge or the openness or the relaxed feel that they have on their Instagram. So it's always, I think it's still useful.
No, I completely agree.
We do our research here on Love to See It.
We do our research.
So should we start with the bio of Grant Ellis, our bachelor?
I think that we should. I mean, we know Grant, but we want to know how they are trying to present Grant to us, right? What do they want us to know about Grant? After an emotional exit, Grant Ellis's journey to find love will continue as he takes on the role of leading man for the upcoming 29th season of The Bachelor. The adventurous day trader who captured the hearts of Bachelor Nation with his genuine desire to build a future centered around family will be handing out roses when his season premieres next year on ABC. A self-proclaimed mama's boy, Ellis's infectious smile and unwavering positivity instantly brightens every room he enters. The former pro basketball player is passionate about his career as a day trader, but when he's not immersed in the fast-paced world of finance, you can find him cheering on the Lakers, hitting strikes at the bowling alley, or belting out tunes at karaoke nights. As
He
the
does it
Bachelor,
all.
he's a Renaissance man. Ellis is eager to embark on a journey filled with romance, adventure, and genuine connections. He hopes to find a partner who shares his values of loyalty, humor, and a deep appreciation for life's simple pleasures.
I see what they're doing here. They're like, he loves family, but he also is a boss. He is building an empire. He is hustle culture. He is a business boy.
Yeah.
And yet, is he also a dad?
A future dad, a dad in waiting. I mean, no fewer than 3 mentions of finance in this cast bio. Just to be clear, he can provide.
I feel like it almost harkens back a little bit to our OG Bachelor prototype, Alex Michelle. In
The
a way,
original business boy.
right, the original business boy. They were like, this is what makes a desirable and sturdy man. And
Yeah.
then we just had a lot of software salesmen.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that Grant does bring together a lot of bachelor types. He's the former pro athlete.
Check.
He's the business boy.
Check.
He's the sincere, family desiring
Check.
man. Like often those are like three separate types.
Right. He's got it all.
He's got it all.
I understand why so many women were eager to join this season.
I mean, he's also, as I've said before
Hot.
on this show, very hot. Like
certified
he's
hottie. He's
one of the most certified of the certified hotties who have been the lead on the show.
have you seen that smile? I've seen that smile and get lost in it.
He is going to have these 25 women shaking in their boots. So that's how they're kind of selling him. He's the full package. The tough thing about Grant is that I don't think that he was quite a big enough of a presence on the season that he was on, Jen's season, to actually be sold as like the big fan favorite. Like, it's not that he wasn't liked, it's just that he left kind of earlier than the typical lead.
Yeah.
And so the people that I think were more that got further along in the show were not Bachelor types, like didn't really work out. And so they had Grant.
I think Grant was a great choice, but I do hope in the premiere we get to like see more of his family, a little bit more of his home life, because that's what you really miss out on when the lead doesn't get a hometown date.
Right. There's this component of their life and what shaped them that we didn't really get to know. And what we mostly saw was him being very like sincere, like seeming mature about certain parts of the house drama, being supportive to the other men, and just like being really sad when he got sent home and being sort of blindsided. So all very endearing things. And hopefully we'll get to see his personality shine more.
Should we talk about the women?
Let's do it. I'm already stymied at the first one because I don't know how to pronounce her name. This is one of the women that I listed as having an extraneous vowel, but it's either extraneous or it's not enough vowels.
Alexe. Is that Alex with a silent E? Is it Alexi? Is it Alexe? Is it...
let's call her Alex.
Alex.
Let's keep the E silent.
Yes,
I can't wait to
find
out.
And we are so sorry to her
so sorry.
if we're pronouncing it wrong. Alex is a 27-year-old pediatric speech therapist from New Brunswick, Canada. As we know, per the Caitlin Bristow model, this show loves a Canadian on the US version.
Oh, absolutely. The Canadians are like our pure northern siblings who come in and are like influencing. I don't know anything about that. I'm just here to be wholesome. And true to form, Alex is a small town girl looking for big time love.
Wow.
Hallmark coded AF.
So Hallmark coded. She grew up on a farm surrounded by goats, bunnies, and chickens, and she loves animals. This is like Snow White in a Hallmark film.
Yeah. No, it's she I envision her as a sort of hot St. Francis of Assisi.
She also is fluent in French, which, besides being very Canadian, will obviously endear her to Jesse Palmer, who is also a Canadian who's fluent in French.
Yeah, and that's like Jesse Palmer's favorite thing about himself, as we know. She loves to travel, play beach volleyball, and make her friends laugh. She is ready to find the man of her dreams and wants someone open-minded, hardworking, and a good human. Fun facts. Alex is addicted to cooking competition shows. Alex loves ketchup chips. Again, very Canadian.
Canada alert.
Alex doesn't do karaoke ever, which is concerning because we just learned that karaoke is very important to Grant.
It's not going to be a match.
Do you think that Grant is one of those guys who goes to karaoke and picks a ballad that's very challenging to show off? Or is he one of the guys who's going to pick like a 90s crowd pleaser that everyone's going to sing along to?
Oh, God, I hope the latter.
I think the latter.
I think the latter, too. I think Grant actually has a very good grasp on social dynamics. He can read the room. It's one of his strengths.
Instagram bio for Alex: French Canadian, speech language pathologist, probably tired.
Same girl. And you're going to be extra tired filming this show. It's
going to be tough. I did actually see that Jeremy said on, I think, Bachelor Happy Hour that Grant sleeps a lot. And so
he's very rough for him.
How is he going to handle the Bachelor, the punishing filming schedule? So maybe they can take naps together. She has 7,000 followers. Is she more gorgeous on Instagram? I think she's slightly more stunning on Instagram,
Yeah,
but it's a good headshot.
it is a good
She looks
headshot.
beautiful.